Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. That's today. The Mexican holiday honors those who passed away and also celebrates life. James Medham's president of the Flatiron Nomad Partnership. They're going to be hosting a Dia de los Muertos celebration today.
This is a real opportunity for us to not only show off our terrific neighborhood, but also celebrate an important heritage day and moment for the city and the Mexican community.
The celebration takes place at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine on Amsterdam on 112th Street at 7:30 tonight. The guy charged with orchestrating the 1996 drive-by killing of Tupac Shakur expected to plead not guilty today to those murder charges. Dwayne Keith Davis said to be the only person still alive who was in that car where the shots were fired from that night in Vegas. Davis is set to be arraigned later today. A lawyer who was representing Davis says prosecutors lack key evidence and witnesses to the killing from 27 years ago. Hey, you think you have evidence of a clandestine government UFO program? Well, there's a form for that. The Department of Defense has launched a new online tool to report government activity related to unidentified anomalous phenomena. We used to call them UFOs. The website offers those claiming firsthand knowledge of a U.S. government program to submit the information to the government. Reporting a government program to the government. Sounds good. Okay. Oh, Breakfast with the Beatles is back. 10 a.m. this morning, the final song from the Fab Four coming out right to your computer. 1010 Wins Entertainment's next.
Hey, this is Travis Kelce, NFL tight end and proud member of the Lowe's home team. Lowe's knows when you've got the best price, you've already won. That's why we offer the lowest.
Good morning, YouTube. Freddie Cardone here. Welcome back to another Driving and the News video. We're here going eastbound on Broadway.
So take on your projects.
Heading to work, listening to 1010 Wins, documenting the news for future generations as we pass Eastside Park on the right-hand side. I do know this is not the most exciting video or the most entertaining video, but I feel it's important to record our history for future generations. And you get to see real time what kind of cars were out here, the designs of the cars in the 2020s.
Only $68 down. Even on the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 6, only $68 down. You could be driving a new car home today. They'll help with any credit situation. Call 800-951-4221. That's 800-951-4221.
We got Eastside Park there on the right in Paterson, New Jersey. So this news is for the New York metropolitan area. So if you've moved away from this area, you can listen to your hometown news broadcasts live as it happens. Well, it won't be live when you're watching a video, but you will be watching the live broadcast on a recorded video. Did that make sense?
George and Ringo will get to make together.
That's Sean Ono Lemon in a mini documentary about the making of Now and Then, which takes vocals from John Lennon from the 1970s, guitar parts from George Harrison in the 90s, and finishing touches done recently by Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney. And it all uses special AI technology, which allowed them to separate and clean up the John Lennon vocals. The song is out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and the documentary is out now on Disney+. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Oh, yes, indeed. Nominees for the Soul Train Music Awards are out. SZA, Summer Walker, and Usher each up for 9 awards. 21 Savage right there with 8 nominations. They're going to have that awards show coming up on November 26th. One more time on that, why don't we?
The Soul Train.
Adults 55.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Home in a great Long Island location with low taxes. Picture yourself at Stone Ridge and Dix Hill.
21 South, we're going past Blue Cross Animal Hospital. I did a video there. For those of you that are interested, can check it out. Dog and Cat Hospital.
Primary suites and more. Visit StoneRidgeDixHills.com. Available from $835,000 with taxes under $6,400 a year. Find out more at StoneRidgeDixHills.com.
Got a couple more commercials before we hit the 740 headlines to see what's going on today, November 1, 2023.
Hired to play catch stretch, Grandpa?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The 1010 Wins Dime Community Bank $10,000 giveaway for small business is back. Go to 1010wins.com/challenge to find out how you can win it.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We're at a brisk 36 degrees at 7:40 on this Thursday, November 2nd. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. Not so fast on the expulsion for George Santos. The New York congressman gets a reprieve in the House. Local city officials introduce new legislation to close down illegal cannabis shops around the Big Apple. President Biden calling for a pause in the fighting between Israel and Hamas while foreigners are starting to leave Gaza. New York City subways continue to be a hot spot for assaults. Another rider pushed onto the tracks.
Girl, you know it's true.
Milli Vanilli's song streams are up. They're up big thanks to Paramount Plus, and we still know it's not them. Checking sports, Texas Rangers, your World Series champs as they take the D-backs in 5. Knicks lose to the Cavs. Nets take the Heat. AccuWeather, chilly morning. We're going to warm up to 50 with mostly sunny skies today. Wins News Time, 7:41 here on this Thursday.
Congratulations, Texas Rangers, on the World Series win.
Turnpike when you've got an overturned tractor trailer, and that's exactly what we've got. Since 5:30 on the northbound Turnpike entrance ramp from 46 to 95 in Ridgefield Park. Accident, overturned vehicle involved, and all lanes are closed there. Taking a look at the Garden State Parkway, we've got volume both ways through Bloomfield and East Orange, again in either direction. Hudson River crossing numbers as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound side of the GW Bridge, Lincoln and Holland, are all somewhere around the 30-minute mark. The inbound GW Bridge lower is a 25 to 30-minute delay. In the Bronx, the Deegan, southbound at 233rd Street. We are jammed with an accident with one lane closed all the way back to Cross County. We are jammed on the southbound Deegan down to exit 13. The Bronx River Parkway right now is looking at a little bit of volume as you make your way down to the Wakefield section of the Bronx at around McLean Avenue from back across county. And we've got northbound Hutchinson Parkway delays from the New England Thruway up into Cross County as well. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes around the clock. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, New York Congressman George Santos holding on to a life preserver in Washington for now.
Congressman George Santos remains in office. On this vote, the yeas are 179, the nays are 213. 2/3 not voting in the affirmative. The resolution is not adopted.
The freshman congressman spoke before the vote for 8 minutes.
And now is not the time to set dangerous precedent. The last time a member of Congress was expelled was in 2002, following a criminal conviction. In fact, both expulsions in the last 2 centuries took place after the defendants had been convicted.
The House Ethics Committee report on Santos is due out around November 17th. And of course, Santos still faces fraud charges. Santos has maintained his innocence. Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, who brought the expulsion resolution forward, said after the vote he's disappointed because he says Santos is unfit to serve the people of the 3rd Congressional District. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Wins News Time, 7:44. Illegal cannabis shops continue to spread throughout the Big Apple. So city officials want to make it easier to close them down.
So there are 11 legal cannabis shops in the city right now. 1,500 is the estimate of those operating illegally. So you see what's going on here. Apparently fines up to $20,000 not enough to put these illegal cannabis shops out of business. They see it as the cost of doing business. Councilman Keith Powers' bill would make it easier to put the lock on the door and shut these shops down permanently, or they'd have to pivot.
There are many stores that are operating right now that have basically turned a regular convenience store bodega into a store that also sells cannabis products illegally. So they can convert back to being a regular store or be any other form of retail, or they can go through the legal process, which everyone else is doing.
Powers' measure would amend the city's nuisance abatement law to include these shops and speed up the process to stop their cannabis sales. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM at City Hall.
Wins News Time 7:45 to the war in the Middle East. President Biden last night saying he thinks there needs to be a pause between Israel and Hamas.
The president speaking at a closed fundraiser telling the crowd that, quote, he is the guy that convinced Prime Minister Netanyahu to call for a ceasefire and let prisoners out, and that he also convinced Egypt's president to open the gate and let foreign nationals leave Gaza. The president saying he understands the emotions on both the Palestinian and Israeli side of the fight.
Correspondent Andy Field. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken scheduled to head back to Israel and Jordan tomorrow. His goal is to stress the U.S. support for Israel and prevent the war from escalating to other parts of the region. Jordan has reportedly recalled its ambassador from Israel and told Israel's envoy to stay out of Jordan for now. As for those being let out of Gaza, the Hamas-controlled side of the only border crossing out of the Gaza Strip is publishing a list each morning with the names of those people who are allowed to leave. Yesterday's list included 5 American citizens.
For the first time since the war began, hundreds of civilians were allowed to get out of Gaza into Egypt. Among them, at least 5 Americans. But the Biden administration, aware hundreds more U.S. citizens are still stuck in Gaza.
Working nonstop to get Americans out of Gaza as soon and as safely as possible.
American doctors Ramona Okumara and Barbara Zind at the crossing, among those U.S. citizens able to get out.
That's correspondent Ian Pannell. Israel's ground troops continue to move towards Gaza City. Cornell University junior Patrick Dye went before the judge yesterday.
The 21-year-old was in federal court after his arrest Tuesday and charged with making a string of anti-Semitic threats online, which included threatening to stab and slit the throats of Jewish students. Police say they tracked him using his IP address and that he confessed.
As this arrest shows, we are focusing our efforts on confronting and disrupting illegal threats wherever they arise.
That's Attorney General Merrick Garland and Lilia Luciano reporting. Wins News Time 7:47. More anti-Semitic messages, this time found at a Jewish cultural center in the Bronx Tuesday night. The Shalom Aleichem Center in Norwood had the phrase Free Palestine spray painted on the building. The center was also hit with eggs. The NYPD Hate Crimes Unit is on the investigation. One official from the center saying this is the first time something like this has happened to our place in 50 years. Mayor Adams on his way to D.C. today. He's going to be joined by mayors of other big cities as they get an audience with White House officials. The migrant crisis on the menu.
The mayors of Chicago, Denver, Houston, Los Angeles, and New York want to meet with President Joe Biden. They are seeking federal help in managing the surge of migrants that they say are arriving with little to no coordination, support, or resources from the president's administration. In a joint letter, the Democratic leaders say that while they appreciate Biden's efforts so far, much more needs to be done. Biden is increasingly under fire on this issue from members of his own party. Chicago alone estimates it will spend roughly $255 million on the migrant crisis in 2023, and they are now scrambling to find indoor shelters as the temperatures drop. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Well, police are looking for a woman who kicked a pregnant woman in the stomach as they get off a train at a Queens subway station. They say the 25-year-old victim was on the southbound 7 coming into the 74th Street Broadway station in Jackson Heights around 9 a.m. yesterday. Officials say the pregnant rider was bumped by the suspect. They got off the train and then a fight broke out. The suspect reportedly hit the pregnant woman in the head with her cell phone and kicked her in the stomach. She took off right out of the station. The victim had bruising and swelling on her face. She is at the hospital, expected to be okay. Tragedy at the subway station at 34th Street and Herald Square.
At a station that is always busy, this man in his 40s tumbled onto the southbound tracks about 12:40 and was hit by a D train. Roberta says she never stands close to the edge.
It's just sad. It's whether or not he fell or was pushed. It's either way, it's sad.
No criminality here. Police say the man just lost his footing. And there are those narrower areas at this station where the stairs and the escalators run, but we don't know if that's where the man was standing. Others I spoke to were quick to say they always stand in the middle of the platform. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Herald Square.
Hey, you know how the NHL plays some select games outdoors now in baseball and football stadiums? Well, we got a couple coming to MetLife in February. Devils and Flyers on February 17th. Rangers and Islanders on the 18th. Here's New Jersey Governor Murphy.
The Stadium Series in Jersey for 2 games, back-to-back sellouts, is a huge deal.
Are they going to get sellouts at MetLife? That's a big place for hockey. Devs Flyers match up an 8 p.m. start in February. Hot chocolate's going to be flowing. Oh, Milli Vanilli's hot again. We're going to tell you why in just a few minutes. But first, we'll go back out to the roads. Give me 60 seconds.
Hey, have you ever been ripped off?
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching to today's episode of Driving in the News. You're doing a service for future generations. All right, we'll see you on the next video.